So I got perfect 90 in this, as you can see. Let me show you the individual questions. So in the first read aloud, it gave me 90 out of 90. The second one also 90. Let me play this audio. And the third one is also 90. Fourth one is 90. Welcome back, guys. Sunil this side from Forever PT. In today's video, we'll be talking about speaking module. After 7th of August, the weightage of speaking module has gone up. In order to score band 8, you need 88 marks in speaking out of 90. So a lot of students are worried because of this. In today's video, I'm going to perform a speaking mock test. I'll use the same templates and methods that I've used in the real exam. I'll show you how to mix templates with your own wording so that you can score perfect marks in speaking. Now let's get started. So here we are on the website. I'm going to use these templates and we'll be using this website to perform the test. These are the templates for describe image, retell lecture, respond to a situation, and this one is for summarize group discussion. I've already shared these templates on YouTube. Now let's start. So I'm gonna hit the mock test button, then the section wise test for speaking module, the 7th of August version. Okay, so we'll be getting 7 question types, 6 question types: read aloud, repeat, DI, retell lecture, summarize group discussion, and respond to a situation. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yeah, the mic is okay. Then next. Okay, so this is the first read aloud. Let's read it once. At this great age, putting a date on finds is very challenging, and we used luminescence dating to do this. These new dating methods have far-reaching implications, allowing us to date much further back in time. To piece things together, sites that give us a glimpse into human evolution. Zoom in a little bit. We'll start right after the beep sound. At this great age, putting a date on finds is very challenging, and we used luminescence dating to do this. These new dating methods have far-reaching implications, allowing us to date much further back in time. To piece things together, that gives us a glimpse into human evolution. Next. Melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, extreme heat waves, the consequences of climate change are more visible than ever, and the scientific community has confirmed that humans are responsible. Yet studies show that a third of the population still doubts or disputes these facts. The cause is disinformation spread by certain vested interests. Let's wait for the beep sound. Melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, extreme heat waves, the consequences of climate change are more visible than ever, and the scientific community has confirmed that humans are responsible. Yet studies show that a third of the population still doubts or disputes these facts. The cause is disinformation spread by certain vested interests. Next. Third read aloud. The study across 3 countries led by the Department of Psychology discovered people who prioritized achievement over enjoyment were less happy on the next day, whereas those who aimed for freedom said they had a 13% increase in well-being, recording better sleep quality and life satisfaction. The study across 3 countries led by the Department of Psychology discovered people who prioritized achievement over enjoyment were less happy on the next day, whereas those who aimed for freedom said they had a 13% increase in well-being, recording better sleep quality and life satisfaction. Stop and next. You can also use one-line strategy in this. In case if you find a read aloud is very difficult, let's say this one, what you can do is just pick any 8 to 10 words, just make sure they are in a continuity. For example, this first line: income inequality is a significant social issue that affects communities worldwide. Just click on the next button and submit your answer. You will get full points if your answer is perfect. Just make sure you pick the words in a continuity. Don't mess up any word in one-line strategy. Income inequality is a significant social issue that affects communities worldwide. the gap between the rich and the poor countries to widen, leading to social unrest and economic instability. To address this issue, governments can implement policies that promote equitable distribution of resources and opportunities. Next. The weightage of read aloud has gone down significantly. So even if you mess up few words in read aloud, don't worry about it. Just maintain your continuity, finish your answer in a fluent manner. You can also skip few words. For example, if you don't know the pronunciation of this, lofty, you can skip few words and still get a 90. Let's wait for the beep. Quantum physicists show that imperfect timekeeping places a fundamental limit to quantum computers and their applications. The team claims that even tiny timing errors add up to place a significant impact on any large-scale algorithm, posing another problem that must eventually be solved if quantum computers are to fulfill the lofty aspirations that society has for them. Now, sixth question. The natural world is an incredible place. There are soaring mountains and rolling sand dunes, spectacular beaches and shimmering lakes. Let's use one line in this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read from here till sand dunes. The natural world. I used one line strategy in 2 questions in the real exam that I gave on 7th of August. So it is still working. The natural world is an incredible place. There are soaring mountains and rolling sand dunes. Next.
The course looks at tough ethical questions in our society.
The course looks at tough ethical questions in our society.
Every day, all students can use computers without any problems.
Every day, all students can use computers without any problem.
Smoke played a big role in making air pollution worse.
Smoke played a big role in making air pollution worse.
Our guest professor will give a geology lecture very soon.
Our guest professor will give a geology lecture very soon.
It's fine to save some research questions for later investigation.
It's fine to save some research question for later investigation.
Other countries help English become important all over the world today.
Other countries help become English more popular over the world today.
The bus by the building goes directly to the central bus station.
The bus by the building goes directly to the central bus station.
To meet the requirement, multiple copies need to be given to the department.
To meet the requirement, multiple copies need to be given to the department.
Answers to these crucial scientific questions are approaching closer for researchers.
Answers to these crucial scientific questions are approaching closer for researchers.
Physiology delves into the complex inner and outer structures of the body.
Physiology delves into the complex inner and outer structure of the body. Okay, so it's a pie chart basically, and I'm gonna use this structure. I'll use few lines from the structure, the highest element, the lowest element, and the rest I'll speak on my own. So it's a pie chart. Pet food is 30%, pet toys 20%. The given pie chart is showing us the market share of pet services and products. There are different categories like other services, pet healthcare, pet grooming, and pet toys. The highest among them is pet toys, which is 30%, and it is represented by blue color. The lowest one is other services, which is 10%, shown by yellow color. The figures of pet healthcare and pet toys are quite similar, around 20%, while that of pet grooming is slightly low, which is somewhere around 15%. It's a bar graph, and the data is of state sales units. We have New York, London, different countries are there. New York is highest among sales, and Paris has least amount of sales. Okay. The bar graph is comparing the data of different regions with sales unit. It is showing us the state sales across different cities. The most popular among them is New York, which has more than 300 units, represented by blue color. The least popular in terms of sales unit is Paris, which has a figure of slightly above 250 sales unit. The proportions of London and Sydney are quite comparable. They are represented by different colors, namely green and yellow. Next one is a line graph. It's comparing the monthly electricity usage over a year. And then we have on the x-axis is months, and on the y-axis electricity usage in terms of kilowatt hour. Initially it was maximum, then dropped to just 220 kilowatt. The line graph is showing us the monthly electricity usage over the year. It is comparing the data of electricity usage over several months. The highest electricity consumption was in January, around 340. It is shown by a blue line, while the least was in the month of March, in which it was around 220 kilowatt. The values in the month of April, August and November are quite comparable, and which are between 320 to 340 kilowatt hour, while in case of June and August the values are little low, around 280 kilowatt hour. Next, so this one is a map, and it's showing us the crop legend. We have wheat, rice, maize, soybean, potatoes, barley and none. So in case of map we have this template. The picture is showing us a map. It is showing us different categories, which are wheat, rice, maize, soybean and barley. It's clear that in the upper part, in the North Americas, rice is more popular. In case of Africa, almost all the crops are grown, while in case of India, potatoes are quite famous. It is shown by dark brown color. In case of South America, there are different crops that are usually grown. In case of Antarctica, the color is wheat. It is represented by wheat color, while Australia is completely blank. It is represented by the none category. Next, yeah, so this one is a picture. So the picture represents a street. There are various aspects. Firstly, it indicates dash is on left side, dash is on right side. Rest of the things we can create on our own. It's a canal basically. The picture is showing us a canal. There are several elements in this, like buildings, windows, a small bridge and people. On the left side, few people are walking on the street. On the right side, there is a bridge over the canal. At the top, there is a clear blue sky. At the bottom, the water is flowing. The picture is showing us that in between the buildings, a canal is flowing. On the left side, there are also few boats. The people are walking on the street. Some people are crossing the bridge. The picture is very clear. Next, just try to maintain your flow.
In this lecture, I'd like to focus on the vital role of sustainable business practices in shaping our future. In an era of environmental challenges, the way businesses operate can have far-reaching impacts on our planet and society. Sustainable business isn't just about reducing environmental harm. It's about creating a positive impact. Companies adopting green practices are seeing benefits not only in their environmental footprint but also in financial performance and public perception. This shift is driven by increased consumer awareness and a global call for corporate responsibility. Moreover, sustainable business practices often lead to innovation. By rethinking materials, energy use, and supply chains, companies are uncovering new, more efficient ways of operating. This innovation is not just beneficial for the environment, it's a catalyst for economic growth and job creation. In conclusion, the move towards sustainable business practices represents a significant opportunity for both environmental preservation and economic prosperity. As future leaders and consumers, your choices and actions will be instrumental in driving this positive change.
Okay. So these are the keywords and this is the template. The lecture highlights focus on vital role. Firstly, the speaker explained that we need to shape our future with the help of environmental changes. The primary focus was on the planet and society. Later, the speaker told that we need to reduce the environmental harm by creating a positive impact. He also mentioned that the financial problem and public perception are two crucial things that we need to take care of. We also need a global call for corporate responsibility. By rethinking the material that we are using, we can create more ways of approaching. It is very beneficial for the environment and also it will create jobs. The economic prosperity and future leaders should come together. Next.
After many iterations, working with experts, medical health professionals, and the women themselves, I should say it was not an easy process at all. But we had a simple and beautiful design. For $1 more than what the existing product was offered for, at $3, we were able to deliver Janma a clean birth kit in a purse. Janma, meaning birth, contained a blood-absorbing sheet for the woman to give birth on, a surgical scalpel, a cord clamp, a bar of soap, a pair of gloves, and the first cloth to wipe the baby clean. All this came packaged in a beautiful purse that was given to the mother as a gift after all her hard work that she carried home with pride as a symbol of prosperity. One woman reacted to this gift. She said, "Is this really mine? Can I keep it?" The other one said, "Will you give me a different color when I have my next baby?" Better yet, a woman expressed that this was the first purse that she had ever owned in her life. The kit, aside from its symbolism and its simplicity, is designed to follow globally recommended medical protocol and serves as a behavior change tool to follow steps one after the other. It can not only be used in homes, but also in institutional settings. To date, our kit has impacted over 600,000 mothers and babies around the world. It's a humbling experience to watch these numbers grow, and I cannot wait till we reach 100 million.
The lecture highlighted that the design was simple and beautiful. Firstly, she explained that she had many iterations and the process was not simple at all. The primary focus was on $1 more than a clean birth kit, which often absorbs the blood. Later, she told about a cord clamp and the first cloth packaged in a purse. Additionally, some details about the symbol of prosperity, and one woman said that, "Is this really mine?" She also mentioned that one woman said she wants a different color while her next baby. This way she reacted. The design followed globally medical protocols. These sort of devices are used in homes and institutional settings. 600,000 mothers were impacted. Okay, I think time's up. Next.
2 students and a student services officer are discussing applying for a student exchange program at university.
I'm really excited about applying for the exchange program, but honestly, it feels like such a huge amount of work. The application website itself looks a bit overwhelming, and I'm worried I'll miss some important deadlines. Have you two already started looking into it seriously?
It definitely can seem like a lot at first, Alice, but don't worry, that's what we're here for. The application process has lots of steps, but it's pretty manageable once you break it down. We've got clear checklists and info sessions to help you through every step, especially with deadlines.
Yeah, I've started poking around, and what's really getting me is trying to pick a place. There are so many amazing universities, and I'm torn between a good academic fit for my major and somewhere I'd really love to experience culturally. How do you even narrow it down when there are so many choices?
That's exactly it, Charlotte. I'm struggling with the same thing. I'd love to go somewhere in Asia for the cultural experience, but I also need to make sure the courses I take abroad will actually count for my degree here. How easy is the credit transfer process, Will?
That's a very common concern, and it's really important to get that right. We have specific agreements with most partner universities, so we can tell you exactly which courses will transfer. You'll need to work closely with your academic advisor to get your course selections approved beforehand. But we can help you with those discussions too.
Okay, that's good to know about the academic side. My biggest worry is actually the financial side. Living abroad for a semester or a year sounds amazing, but the cost of living, flights, and tuition for some places just seems super expensive. Are there any scholarships specifically for exchange students that we should know about?
I was just about to ask about funding too. It's one thing to budget for a holiday, but a whole semester's living expenses in a new country is a totally different situation. I've heard stories about students struggling financially, and I really don't want to only rely on my parents.
Absolutely. Financial planning is really important, and we have several options. The university offers a number of scholarships and bursaries specifically for exchange students, and we can also point you towards external grants. We'd suggest you apply for these as early as you can, as they can really help with the costs and make the experience much more achievable.
That's really reassuring, Will. I thought it might be completely out of reach. But knowing there's support for both the academic and financial side makes it feel much more achievable. I'm excited about the personal growth and independence I'd gain from it. I'll definitely come by your office next week to talk through the details.
Okay, so I'm going to use this template. The main focus of the discussion was student exchange program. The first speaker talked about the deadlines, and there is a lot at the first, and the application process had a lot of steps, emphasizing its relevance to the subject. Following this, the second speaker addressed that she started poking around by picking up a place because there were so many universities and she needed a good fit for her academic major. Following this, the speaker addressed how do you know how to narrow it down. She wanted to go somewhere in the Asia because of the culture, and it will account for my degree, which was her main concern. The topic of the most partner university working closely with the academic advisor and good to know about the academic side was also further discussed with additional clarification provided to deepen the understanding. The third speaker contributed by sharing insights that it is good to know about the academic side, but her biggest worry is about the financial side and the cost of living and the cost of flight as well, which can be super expensive. She then elaborated that she does not want to rely on her parents, and the whole semester living abroad can be very expensive, and it's a very different situation. As the discussion came to a close, attention shifted towards several other options like external grants and scholarships. He wanted to apply them as early as possible. In summary, the conversation covered key aspects based on the experience, which was much more achievable, and they are excited about the personal growth and independence. Next.
3 students are discussing preparing for final exams at university.
Oh man, I'm already feeling the pressure for finals. It feels like there's just so much to cover and like so little time. I'm trying to figure out the best way to deal with everything, especially for that quantitative methods exam. I really need to ace that one.
I know exactly what you mean, Will. I've started making detailed study schedules, blocking out specific times for each subject. For quantitative methods, I've found that doing past papers with a timer on really helps make the concepts stick. It's tough, but it helps you see your weak spots quickly.
That's a good strategy, Lily, but sometimes I find past papers just stress me out more if I'm not confident with the material first. I've been focusing more on active recall and spaced repetition, especially for my history courses. It's basically like quizzing yourself all the time and then going back to topics after longer and longer periods. It feels like it helps more with remembering things.
Active recall is definitely effective for theoretical subjects. I should try using that more for my literature class. But for math, Nothing beats just grinding through problems. Also, don't forget to schedule in breaks. It's so easy to burn out if you're just studying non-stop. I try to do 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off.
Yeah, breaks are super important. I've also been thinking about starting a study group for the economics module. Sometimes explaining concepts to someone else helps me understand them better, and they can catch things I've missed. Plus, it breaks up the boringness of studying alone, which can get really isolating.
Study groups can be, tricky though. I've been in groups where we spent more time chatting than actually studying, or someone just wants answers handed to them. You have to be really strict with yourselves about it. I prefer studying alone and then just checking in with friends for specific questions.
That's true. You need the right people and a clear plan. We definitely need to set some rules, like focusing on specific chapters or problem sets. I think the key is to use it for reviewing difficult topics or quizzing each other, not for initial learning. It's also about keeping each other on track.
Beyond all the study techniques, I think it's just as important to look after yourself. I know it sounds a bit old-fashioned to say, but getting enough sleep and eating properly makes a huge difference in how much information you can actually remember. Pulling all-nighters just isn't good for the long term. You end up forgetting everything the next day anyway.
Totally agree, Lily. I made that mistake in my first year and really regretted it. Now I make sure to shut down my laptop an hour before bed and do something relaxing, like reading. It helps clear my head. It's all about finding that balance between studying really hard and not burning out completely.
Okay, perfect. The main focus of the discussion was preparing for the final exam. The first speaker talked about the pressure. They have a lot to cover in a very little time, emphasizing its relevance to the subject. Following this, the second speaker addressed that we need a detailed study schedule. We can set the timer on. It will help us with the weak spot. The topic of past papers and which stresses me out lead to the active recall. We can also quiz ourselves at the time. It will help us with remembering things more. Then she talked about the literature class. She said nothing can beat maths except solving a lot of problems. She also mentioned that we need to schedule our break. She takes 15 minutes break, then 10 minutes off. The third speaker contributed by sharing insights related to explaining the concept will help him better, and studying alone rather than studying in a group can be very tricky. As the discussion came to a close, attention shifted towards checking in with the friends for some specific questions, and then we also have to solve some chapters and problem sets. We don't need anything for the initial learning study techniques, and getting enough sleep is also very crucial. In summary, the conversation covered key aspects of eating can make a huge difference. I made this mistake in the first year when she did something relaxing, and this will not lead towards burning out completely. Okay.
You are in your second year of university and studying business. You're interested in finding an internship for the summer that's related to your course. After class, you see your professor packing up her things and decide to ask her for some advice. What do you say?
Hello dear professor, I would like to discuss because I'm a second year student and studying business here. I also want to mention that I'm looking for an internship for the summer that is related to my course. Moreover, our attention should be directed towards my studies. So can you please suggest me, should I go with the internship, and what are the ways in order to find an internship, or should I continue focus on my studies? Looking forward to your response.
You are a student living in university accommodation, and the heater in your room has stopped working. It's the middle of winter, and your room is uncomfortably cold, especially at night. You go to the accommodation manager's office to report the problem. What do you say to the accommodation manager?
Hello dear accommodation manager. I would like to discuss that I'm a student living in the university accommodation and the heater in my room has stopped working. I also want to mention that it is the middle of the winter and my room is uncomfortably cold. Moreover, our attention should be directed towards the winter weather. It's extremely cold and uncomfortable for me to survive the night. So can you please send a technician or replace the heater? Looking forward to your response. Done. So I used a mixed structure basically. I also followed some of these templates, these ones, and this one for summarize spoken. I used few lines from the template and I created some lines on my own based on the structure, based on the data that was given. Yeah, so this was our first question. I got perfect 90 in this. At this great age, putting a date on finds is very challenging, and we used luminescence dating to do this. These new dating methods yeah, then in the second one as well, I got perfect 90. Melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, extreme heat waves, the consequences of climate change are more visible than ever, and the scientific community has confirmed that humans are responsible. Yet studies show that a third of the population still doubts or disputes these facts. Let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, so we have the results. Let me refresh. Yeah, so I got perfect 90 in this, as you can see. Let me show you the individual questions. So in the first read aloud it gave me 90 out of 90. The second one also 90. Let me play this audio. Melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, extreme heat waves, the consequences of climate change are more visible than ever. Perfect. Then the third one is also 90, fourth one is 90, fifth one I got 89, and sixth question I used one line, it gave me 80. Then these are some of the repeat sentences. Right, let me show you describe image as well. In the first one I got 80, in the second one it's 82, then 83, 77, again 82, and this one. In Retell lecture it's 84, and second Retell it's 83. The lecture highlight that the design was simple, and then in group discussion 79, 83, so it's around 80 basically in all the questions. And respond to a situation it's 84 in first one and 80 in the second. So overall it's showing me 90 out of 90, right? So this is the way I performed in the real exam as well. Of course in the real exam I was little calm because I didn't have to copy paste the templates over there. I had already memorized them. Now my suggestion is you guys should maintain your flow, and if you mess up few words, if you mispronounce them, don't worry about that. And read aloud, the weightage has gone down. In repeat sentences, just speak whatever you hear. In case of describe image, just add few lines from your own. You can also follow a template, but do make sure that you add few lines on your own if the target is 7-band or 8-band. Alright, that is all in this video. If you have any doubts related to speaking module, you can post them in the comment box. I'll try to answer them. I'll see you in the next video.